Daniel.
Daniel, what are you doing? Oh.
Ya lo va a ver.
Ya se lo eché ya.
Pero para aprender.
What is this? No.
¿Tú vas a esperar por jugar, papi?
Estamos bien.
¿Qué sabemos?
No, me estoy terminando el juego, ya lo dejé en pausa, después se me quite.
What's wrong? How many wants to watch BTS?
¿Tú no crees que yo quiero ver BTS? ¿Ya estuviera viendo BTS? Si está frío, calienta un poquito, ¿bien?
Tú eres la única persona que come arroz seco, bro. You should eat that con habichuela. Aunque no tenga the actual beans, just the
Con
broth.
caldito.
That's the thing I hate about Argentina. El caldito. It's not even thin, even extra chicken.
¿No?
It's not even thin.
Bebe agüita. Está rica.
This one is water tastes good.
¿Viste pillito ahí?
I mean, yeah.
¿Lo tienes puesto el uniforme? ¿Y qué hicieron hoy?
Just normal stuff. Stretch, play.
¿Y todo bien en escuela?
Yeah.
Me dijiste, mami, que te rompiste un dedo.
Oh, yeah.
Usa, dame el olvidarte, para que lo use los dientes.
We were playing basketball.
Permiso. Está en medio.
Vete para allá y habla con ella.
We were playing basketball, and when my friend tried to pass it to me, I tried to catch it, and my finger went like that, and it hit the basketball like that. So now it's like, it hurts.
Pero no está fracturado. Déjame verlo. ¿Está hinchado?
No.
No, sí. Déjame el otro. ¿Tú la otra mano? Come together. Yeah.
Well, I just hit it.
¿Ves? Está aquí hinchado.
To heal the basketball.
Ahora sí, ¿puedes doblarlo?
It hurts, but yeah.
¿Qué te dijo el doctor, el maestro?
No fue enfermería ni nada de
Pero
eso.
está hinchado.
Eso es normal, ¿no? Que se le hinche.
¿You think?
Yeah. No.
Si tuviera fracturado, tuviera mucho dolor, ¿verdad? No te duele mucho la que you have to cry.
It was only like,
The moment.
now it's like,
Pero let's see tomorrow, okay? Si se pone black or super red in pain, you have to go to the doctor. Okay?
Eso es normal. ¿Tú sabes las veces que a mí me pasó eso? Like, almost todo el que juega baloncesto le pasa eso. Todo el mundo.
¿Una fractura? ¿Ah? Cookie es bien listo, ¿eh? Está bien paciente, bien pasivo allá abajo, costadito mientras tú comes. Para después cuando tú te pares, ir para allá a ver qué se cayó.
he's so smart.
Ajá. Y yo creo que está ahí porque hay alfombra, si no, no estuviera ahí porque el piso está frío. ¡Cucú! Come here.
Chicken tastes like nothing.
¿Ah? Está un poquito
Lamb.
Está bueno, pero está un poquito dry. Me hicieron así.
Cookie.
Cookie que no vamos a comer.
Because you guys take off the skin. That's the whole point of the skin.
¿Tú te la comes la skin?
Yeah. Well, I eat it with the skin. There's no point in the skin.
Entonces, ¿por qué no te la serviste tú?
I didn't know it.
Ya, be nice. It's okay. Come here. It's okay. You don't like it? Okay. No. You don't like that noise? Okay. You don't like that noise. Riley, what are you doing?
Bro, what you doing?
¿Un baño?
Yeah.
No te quedes.
In there.
Oigan, ahorita como estaba cocinando me cayó la tijera de hard part en la uña. That hurts. Ya no me duele, pero lo más seguro, a lo mejor cuando me quite de color va a estar black. I don't think. Pero that hurts.
Spit didn't fall on it. Because of that, I would have went through your toenail.
That hurts.
What does? What part? The black part? That? Falling on your toe hurts?
Cayó de arriba. Pero imagínate que hubiese sido la parte finita.
Yeah, that would have sucked, yeah.
How was your day?
Good.
Good, like no bored en escuela. Los maestros no te regañaron hoy. ¿Y el grupo tuyo se portó bien? ¿O siempre se portan mal? ¿Y aprendiste algo en la escuela? Do you pay attention to the class and everything? No, ¿qué hicieron hoy?
Nothing.
¿En todas las clases?
The classes were fast.
Oh. ¿No hicieron un classwork, un sheet? ¿O una libreta?
The only time I did, no, I only have 4 classes.
Oh, tú estás acabando las clases también, ¿verdad? Están como que en lo último.
I don't know, it's just like, they're not giving us much work.
Can you ask your teacher si vas a pasar the grade?
Which teacher?
El de que te puso F de lasta. No, de que el otro.
Okay.
No te dice nada, no te habla, no te dice, Obian, no good, Obian, no bad. Nothing.
No.
Mira que si quiero AirPod for your birthday, you need to.
It's not like a desire, I'm just saying.
¿Ah?
It's not like a desire. Okay. I really, really want it, I'm just saying, oh.
Yeah, pero you can do your best. Maybe you just lo estás haciendo. Tú dices que tenías esa nota por la clase, ¿cómo se llama eso? Por la homework de la computer, right?
Not for that class, no.
What did you say to me?
It wasn't to you, it was to the
Test?
counselor. It was a test. I didn't do good on tests for that class.
¿Y ahora? ¿Estás haciendo good? No te lo comas. Está seco con cojones.
I didn't cut it. I didn't cut it short.
Deja ver cuánto te tienes ahí. Come here. Drink water. No se lo puede tragar. Ay, escúpelo bien, no venga a escupir ahora que se salga todo. En la basura. Pero ya, si vas a escupir saliva, vete al baño.
My God, it's so dry.
Salió así, I don't know why, porque yo he comprado de DJ otras veces, estaban tan
Because you took
jugos.
off the skin.
Pero no, por el skin es no es everything.
That's what the skin is for. For it to cover the dryness. Extra taste.
No, porque hay otros pollos que son jugosos.
Yeah.
Pero está seco, 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 no tiene ni caldito. Quedó así, cocinaron así.
It is too.
Mira, bien, está comiendo medio medio. Oye, cuando tengo un chance, tráeme un palillo para los dientes. Un flossy, please. Daniel, y fregalo. Yo voy a comprarle de que aquí se tiene que hacer las cosas, cada quien hace sus cosas ya, tan grandes ya.
¿No va a la serie ya mismo?
Qué bueno, pollo. Daniel,
What?
palillo.
What do you think I'm getting?
Ok, frega tu palillo. Y tell your homework, I need to use the computer. ¿Este era Lebron? Oh my god, qué feo.
Pero no es lindo.
Sí, pero qué feo que no se parece en nada.
It's not that good looking in real life.
¿Cuándo sale Godzilla? Obviamente.
Like
In
May,
julio.
June, summer,
En
summer.
julio, creo que es. En junio.
Me gustaría ver a la en el cine por el ruido, más nada. Y ahí no que extra.
Mommy, it's a freaking monster movie. What do you expect? I mean, monster movies are just crap.
No es por nada, pero The Nun fue una mierda.
Godzilla? The one
The
in
Nun.
2014?
The Nun.
That's cookie.
No 4 ni 5, que son grandes.
Pero uno,
Exacto.
o dos.
Si comes 2 ahora, no vas a comer más nada en el día. Hasta mañana. Y mañana no te lo comas de breakfast. Come desayuno. Después puedes escoger una si quieres. Tú te pareces hasta a papi, el muñeco ese. A papi con trabajo bien. No, yo quiero ahorita, digo, si no es muy tarde, un poquito de café con maíz. Oh, mamá. Oh, mamá.
To the inside.
Como si fuera esta noche la última vez.
Oh my goodness.
Obviamente, you know,
¿Qué tú estás haciendo ahora mismo en la computadora?
you know que you, ¿cómo se dice?
You're gonna do both. I ready and
¿No? ¿Sí?
You know que no debería de tener sex yet, right? Right? We have to talk more that, okay? Dije mal, pero bueno. No, what?
Oh, I don't want to do that.
Pero para que sepa, bien, porque tú estás creciendo, ¿ok? Mira, ya hay nenas grandes en tu escuela,
High
¿no?
schoolers, yeah.
Pues tienes que tener cuidado, que un día no venga una nena grande y venga y te diga cosas lindas y te toque tus partecitas, you know? No puedes dejar, ese es tu cuerpo, ¿ok? Nadie lo tiene que tocar hasta que ya tú seas adulto. ¿Vale? Y cuando vayas a hacerlo, también tienes que saber cómo protegerte, ¿ok? Con no babies, no enfermedad. No se te pegue nada, porque las mujeres tienen enfermedades también allá abajo, ¿sabías? Y una de ellas es SIDA, ¿sabes lo que es SIDA, right?
AIDS.
Y ese te mata. Te vas a convertir en un hombrecito bien pronto y eso es normal. No lo puedes evitar. Pero you need to know your body, ¿ok? Pero for you.
What happened?
¿Ah?
What happened?
Nothing. I just want to talk to you.
It's weird.
Yeah, I'm learning with you porque I never have another. Yo nunca he tenido hijos y nunca tuve hermano. So for me it's new, you know. Everything happened to you, to your body, to your growing. It's new for me. I'm learning. So that's why we need to talk. Yo te voy a preguntar algo.
Yeah,
¿Te ha pasado que estás durmiendo y te levantas con
all the time.
no parado? Que te levantas con la área ahí mojado, como si fuera pipí o algo así, pero no es pipí. ¿No te ha pasado todavía? I think que déjate. Un día te va a pasar.
Dude, wake up.
Yeah,
Your
cuando
hair
te...
wet.
Yeah.
Why?
Porque maybe durmiendo tuviste un sueño, te sentiste súper, te sentiste un poquito medio, no sé cómo es la palabra,
Don't even like dream about that.
y cuando te levantas, se te moja el pantaloncillo. Y maybe you think it's pee, pero no es pee.
I mean, I know what you're talking about.
¿Te ha pasado?
No,
Pues te va a pasar un día, porque te lo estoy diciendo que si te pasa un día no te asustes.
I'm not gonna be scared. Why would I be scared?
Tú has visto en escuela misma te enseñan, te han hablado de sexo, ¿verdad? Los maestros.
Not in this school.
You don't have health class.
Okay.
A las mujeres le enseñan de las reglas, los cótex and everything. A ustedes no le hablan de pipí.
guys that rhinos are extinct?
What?
Is it true that rhinos are extinct?
They're species, endangered species.
But they said that they are extinct already.
El cuento.
Yeah. That rhinos. They said they're extinct.
They're not extinct.
Well, when you go to a zoo, you don't see a rhino anymore. That's different.
El polar bear sí, ¿verdad?
Polar bears? Yeah, they're extinct.
Listo. Exacto.
Well, because people there, they have to hunt, Mom. They can't survive without food. They'll freeze to death.
Estamos hablando ya.
Aunque se dice algo y
¿Cómo que no?
quizás vamos callando una noche, pero dice que mañana y que la semana va a salir.
Where's the mouse?
Yo lo dije arriba, no sé. Después en otro momento que tú y yo vamos a hablar, deberías explicarle también tú como hombre, porque yo no sé sentirlo bien con ustedes, pero tú como hombre, como tú te ves en una situación difícil, como sola con una muchacha, cómo tú te puedes contener. Pues, es importante enseñarle a mis hijos cómo obtener, o sea, controlarse. Porque imagínate que se van a sentir con cualquier muchacha hacer algo. Pero bien, it's okay, dude. We have to talk this, okay?
I don't want to.
No, not today, pero that's normal. Don't feel like that. Feel normal, okay?
I know it's normal.
Un poquito weird, I know.
I don't like it.
Pero we have to talk it, porque si no, entonces, ¿qué? ¿Cómo vas a aprender o cómo vas a saber? Haciéndolo. That's too late, then. Yo te hablo y te enseñamos un poquito, pero lo demás después tú lo vas a aprender solo, ¿ok? Pero lo importante es decir no. Pues si le dices sí a todas las nenas, vas a tener 50,000 hijos por ahí. Vas a estar preso.
Pero Jesus Christ, bro.
I know, I'm not like 3.
¿Qué?
Tú estás de que ten cuidado y ya que van a tener 20 hijos, vas preso, like. Para la vez, mami.
Está grande ya por 13 años, mijo. Está grande ya.
12. I'm in middle school.
No, but she's right though. We gotta talk about it now because middle school, that you're at the age already that could happen.
Y no te lo estoy diciendo para que pase, estoy diciendo para que cuando
Middle school? That's disgusting.
Well, there's a lot of kids that have kids at 12 and 13 years old.
yeah, porque los padres no hablan con ellos, obviamente. Hay niñas de 12 años pariendo a veces. Paren, bebé.
Well, some do. Some parents do.
Exactly.
Well, they should do.
Los padres no hablan con sus hijos, después los hijos no saben qué hacer.
Pero some parents do, and then they still do it. So.
Hey, no. Yo no te estoy diciendo para que hagas nada, te estoy diciendo para que cuando crezcas ya tú sepas lo que hay que hacer. Y ya tú sabes lo bueno y lo malo, ¿entiendes?
I want to see la Ariano, like, la Llorona.
La Llorona.
Yeah, I can't say that word.
La Llorona.
La Llorona.
You know what I mean?
Girl who cries. Right?
No, girl. Bueno,
La
llorona.
girl.
Yeah.
That's the whole point of the movie. Girl who cries.
La llorona es como crybaby. La llorona a las nenas, a las mujeres y el llorón al hombre. Ay, qué llorón tú eres. Ay, qué llorona tú eres. Always crying for everything. Pero en ese punto de la película no. ¿Por qué se llama la llorona?
Remember when Nick used to cry for everything?
Tú regañabas.
Adrian would say something and be like,
Ya, porque esa es tu forma de defenderte. Yeah. No sabía cómo defenderse, pues lloraba. No todo el mundo es igual que tú. Yo creo que Marí es diferente.
I just wonder what triggered him to cry.
¿Tú ves a Marí como primo o como hermano?
More a brother.
¿Y ustedes se cuentan muchas cosas? ¿Personal stuff? Why not?
There's nothing personal to talk about.
No, así como una girl, linda, I like her.
All we talk about is the games, random stuff. We just talk about whatever.
Okay, maybe in the future.
Nothing really personal. Oh, this is so annoying.
¿Tú vale? Ponte hielo,
Why?
para que te baje el hinchazón.
Que te baja la inflamación.
Pero no hielo, sino papi, hay en el freezer hay un cube. Un blue cube.
Blue cube.
Búscalo, ese corre.
You mean the rectangle that has a bunch of ice in it?
I think so. Go get it. Ponle una servilleta para que no esté muy frío. And then you put it, pon la mano así y te lo pones en un ratito. Y deja la mano quieta.
Blue thing, blue.
Yeah, in the top, donde está el hielo. Ajá. Pon una servilleta ahora, alrededor. Porque si lo pones así va a estar muy frío. Así. ¿Cómo tienes fiebre? ¿Qué te ponías? When I have fever, I put it here.
For my lunchbox too.
Así. Para que lo compré para nosotros.
Well, how am I supposed to do anything if I have that?
Bueno, pues entonces te miran y después lo hacen. Te digo cuando hay una.
Por favor. ¿Tú no vas?
Yo no me acuerdo nunca.
Well, I'm pretty sure this one's been Thank you.
Hey, this is Shaq. I gotta give you credit. You playing like an old school big man tonight. Dominating the task. Communicate.
Well, Shaq, coaches always tell us how.
No te quedes, Bran. No te quedes.
I love this kid.
Love you too, Shaq. Thanks, man. Cheers.
Ay, somebody dijo el pollo bien.
¿Cómo se ve ahora?
Yo quiero maíz, pero Pero no quiero café. Quiero café, pero no quiero café ahora.
Yo seguro voy a beber ahorita el fresco.
Mira, déjate la abierto también. ¿Cómo se abre esta mierda?
Vamos a ver en el cuarto o lo vamos a ver aquí. Aquí.
Ay, aquí, que siempre estamos en el cuarto. En el cuarto es algo monótono, queremos acostarnos.
Tie yourself up, her feet, her hands. How is this possible in one house?
Rebecca Zahab, an ID murder mystery, Monday, May 27th at 9, only on
Good.
It's not that I don't like. It's not that I don't like it. I like it. I just don't want it. I don't want it right now. I just ate like 2 cookies and I. Oh my god.
Mommy is the weirdest person alive.
How? How?
Because
¿Yo sé qué?
She eats cornbread.
I love cornbread.
It's pretty good. Don't they use that for cake sometimes?
No.
Oh, so then it's good.
Yo soy de weird person. ¿Sí? What?
Como polar a veces.
It's so weird when she tries to talk English.
That's not weird.
No, it's like, I don't know. It's pretty weird.
¿Cómo estoy coral?
No, pero no me toca ahí.
¿Cómo tú puedes comer coral?
A veces estás ahí en el colegio y de repente estás ahí lo mismo.
A veces me pongo a pensar o a ver cosas que me molestan y otras no. Como la casa linda, todo el mundo está tranquilo. Debe cogerlo suave con este hombre porque está delicioso. Uno coge suave, se va a limpiar todo, todas las mañanas. Y no. ¿Qué?
Oh my.
Claro, sí, con el solito está bueno.
Let me put this other with AW.
Vean, Ray, ¿tú lavaste tu cuchara?
Venga.
What is that?
Your spoon.
Vale. Can you help me out here? Can calm go to a ball? Crawl, calm, salt, talk, calm, bomb. Calm should be a bomb. There you go. Finish it. You finish it? No point. You have to finish it because then it's incomplete and you get a 0.
No, I do. Come on.
It's better to get the 67 than get a 0.
Yeah.
Then trust me.
Bien. Dice to your sister. Se llama criado.
No lo quiero terminar porque ya sacó 4 más, algo así. Pero es mejor que tener el 67, whatever los breaks que le dan, el 50, whatever, que tener un 0 por no terminarlo.
Pues claro. Just finish it.
He's telling me because there's more than me.
Bien. Finish it. Carly, this is completamente insane. You like Converse?
Jungle posted a video with this song, right? While he's in the car, there's a song on Twitter. It's a nice song. Yes, good. It's incredible. It's great.
Who posted it? Who posted it?
There's a video out here in the car, yeah. And this song was playing.
Yo vi este video, pero no puse la información atrás.
You can put it up?
Maybe. So, mientras yo estoy viendo la cara de Jungkook y el pelo de Jungkook, tú estás escuchando la canción de Jungkook. La canción que Jungkook puso. Y yo estoy, qué feliz de ver.
It was so cute. teeth.
It's so funny. You manzana, ¿viste comiendo manzana?
Yeah.
Oh my God, he's a healthy apple. Huh? Oh my God, he's a healthy. It's an apple. Bueno, diga ahí.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Bro, like, this doesn't make sense, bro.
Tú estás diciendo todo esto, right? Si yo le iba a decir a mami, macho, mira a esta tipa como, mira a Beyoncé como Melissa Manzana. Ah, ¿qué pasa? ¿Y a ella no te gusta? ¿Qué es lo que te pasa?
How?
Entonces tú me has dicho a mí que Beyoncé que es tu crush en Shakira y en J-Lo and whatever. All the time.
Please.
Hold that up.
So,
Vale.
if you need Riley help, listen to her then. Pide ayuda, después lo que hacemos es aconseja. Don't put it anywhere, wait, take it out. Leave it alone. Calm, talk. It's rhyming? Okay. Riley dijo, termínalo.
That was very unusual because she was a person that you relied on 5 days a week to tell you what.
Hey, nene, calm down, bro. Déjala que do, calm down.
He got it wrong, he doesn't understand it.
Okay, so just calm down, read it, go through it.
Just don't think all over it.
But if you don't pay attention to it, you're gonna fail
It's
it.
hard to pay attention because these things don't make anything clear.
Why did he hit himself?
What was going on in the mountains.
I was in my room studying late, probably until about almost 2, and she came in at about 11:30 into my room and spoke with me then. And she seemed in a really pretty happy mood, and then she said she was going to bed, and that was about 12.
When Linda didn't show up the next day, the newspapers then proceeded to tell the public that Linda was gone. And it was quite a mystery because she was a very responsible young woman. There was a crime scene search at that point.
The room was very neat. There was no signs of foul play in the room except some blood in the pillow and head area on the sheets of Linda's bed. The only curious thing there is Linda's bed was made up neatly.
At that time, the disappearance of Linda Healy was certainly unique for the Seattle area. Back when I first started as a patrol officer with the King County Sheriff's Office, I'd never seen a crime committed before. And that's where I got my start. We did not know anything about where she went, nor had anyone else had any knowledge about where she went.
We have very few leads.
My physical therapy teacher got fired today.
Oh, everybody's gonna shut. Yeah, like, okay, so estábamos en la clase, right? Pero cuenta la historia del gran, ¿ok?
Go. And then se tuvo que ir para la oficina porque lo llamaron. Pero always, siempre lo están llamando, pues, the principal's annoying. But, so Mr. Molina came in, and he was looking at, looking after us.
Con cremita.
And he was like, okay, let's go upstairs because it's going to take longer than expected. But then we're lining up to go upstairs, and then Dr. Fernandez, he's like, the doctor, he comes back and he's like, oh, just to let you guys know I've been terminated from my job. And we're like, everybody was like in shock. So we're like, what?
Él mismo dijo.
He was fired.
Right.
You don't know.
Él le dijo que
They don't like him. They don't like him. Huh?
Pero para votarlo tiene que haber una razón. Si no, él puede demandarlo.
Is he black?
No. I mean, it's not like, he's not, I mean, it's fine for teaching. It's not like the best teacher ever, but at the same time, it's not like he never did, like, bad enough for you to, like, fire him.
Well, maybe he did something that you guys don't know about.
Pero para votarlo, bueno, menos que hicimos patrón.
Why don't you like him?
Huh? Why don't they like him? Oh, maybe, it's like, I mean, as a teacher, he's a good teacher. As a person,
You say we don't like him.
except
They don't like him.
Right.
because I guess because like
Right?
no, or I guess a little, but he's not mean. He's kind of like he teaches these things. He gives you the quiz or test or whatever, and then like
He's kind of aggy. He's like my Morales teacher. The dude who just does nothing.
like he's not strict like that. He's like too strict on work. He puts on a movie. Literally, it was like picture day, right? No one was doing anything because it was picture day. He put on a movie, and like some of the students complained, I'm like, he put on a movie in class. We weren't doing anything. No one was doing anything. It was picture day. Things like that. The administration just like picks on him. This is the first year teaching. Just so I was like, whoa. This man, he was a great teacher anyway.
No cree que se haya sido por droga ni abuso sexual.
She doesn't know,
Was
Mom.
the one that moved?
Yeah, he did that.
Huh?
He did that one.
Hey, well, Oldacre smokes in front of us too. In fact, he chews tobacco
Oh no,
in front of us.
Oh, not you meant? I mean, there was one who smoked like cigarettes, but he was fired a long time ago. He left a long time ago.
No, por eso a mí me dice que eso fue Mr. Oreki, que preguntaron fumando tabaco.
He does. He chews tobacco in front of everybody.
Eso es ilegal porque ningún padre puede ir allí a fumar. Tiene que irse lejos.
He's supposed to be out of school.
Exacto.
He just goes in the back, turns around, and goes home.
Ah, se lo come.
You choose it. You chew it and you spit it out.
Ah, para
Yeah, and then we see him we see him go.
Cuando uno tiene un vicio, cuidado, otra gente ahí.
Why do I so weird?
It's gonna shave. When I don't shave it, no.
Es que si te sabes bien, hay que aceptarla, pero si te rasca de esa misma. Mira, maybe can repeat. Ya cago ahorita.
The disappearance of Linda Healy. Although since the last time that we made a press release on this, we have interviewed 65 people.
We couldn't do anything but sit and man a telephone. It was pretty bad.
Ted's first victim was supposed by most people to be Linda Ann Healy, and my conversations with Ted began fairly innocently. I wanted to talk about the murders. So I asked him about the murder of Linda Ann Healy.
We know that Healy went to bed and was never seen again. I think we've got to try to think in a more narrative kind of way about the crime with which you have been connected.
Oh my God.
I don't know.
And then your skin deteriorates itself.
How do you even get that? From like overly puddling.
Ya se ve quebradita.
Initial reaction is that I don't think that I can.
It seemed to me that when he said that he was going to cooperate with us and tell us important things that would help prove that he was innocent, what he really had in mind was a celebrity bio.
Boyhood in Sheridan Street was not an unpleasant one. I remember those days of roaming with my friends, the adventure, the exploration. Those were days of frog hunting and marble playing.
Ted had an idealized version of his boyhood.
First grade, I was somewhat of a champion frog catcher. I mean, I was a frog man. I prided myself on my ability to spot a pair of bulging eyes, which were bobbed just above the surface of a murky pond.
Growing up in Tacoma, we had a lot of fun. My brother was 2 years older, and he and Ted were the same age. We had about a 4-block area of kids that played together, and we had that whole wooded area to play in.
I never lacked playmates in those days. There were always more than enough kids around to do something with. They seemed to be everywhere.
There was a distinct difference between the haves and have-nots in the neighborhood, and Ted's family were in the have-not group. But they could have not been more beaver cleaver if they tried. his mom worked as a secretary. Mr. Bundy was a really good dad. His mom and dad took him to church every Sunday. They were involved in Cub Scouts and Brownies and Girl Scouts and Boy Scouts and sent the kids to church camps. They were very, very involved parents. But he was just different. He had a big problem for a long time. He had a horrible speech impediment, so he was teased a lot. He just didn't fit in, even up at Boy Scout camp. He just couldn't quite get the hang of doing the things the other kids were doing. Couldn't tie the knots right, couldn't shoot the gun right, couldn't win the races, and he had a temper. He liked to scare people. He liked building tiger traps out in the woods. They built a big pit in the ground and put sharpened stakes down in it, then covered the top of it up with vegetation. And one little girl went over the top of one of Ted's tiger traps and got the whole side of her leg slit open with the sharpened point of the stick that she landed on. In high school, he wanted to be something he wasn't. He was going to be president. He was going to show the world that Ted was the one to be dealt with. And it was a lot of blowhard talk.
I did well in academics. I ran for high school office. Most of my close friends would play football or went out for the track team, went skiing every weekend. So I was one of the boys.
He tried to fool you and lie to you. He wasn't athletic. He wanted to be the number one in class, but he wasn't. He started being more alone.
Some people perceive me as being shy and introverted. I didn't go to dances. I didn't go on the beer drinking outings. And I was a pretty, you might call me straight, but not a social outcast in any way.
Nobody really got to be close to Ted. I don't remember him dating anybody, and at the time I thought it was really terrible because he was a good-looking guy.
It wasn't that I disliked women or afraid of them, it's just that I didn't seem to have an inkling as to what to do about it. I honestly can't say why.
He just didn't seem to be all there, all present in some way. There was just a gap in him.
Everybody's fascinated with the notion that there is a cause. Okay, that we can put our finger on and say, yes, his father beat him when he was a boy. We could see it when he was a kid. That's bullshit. There's nothing in my background which would lead one to believe that I was capable of committing murder. Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
In June of 1974, another young woman went missing in Seattle. And she had lived in the University of Washington area, very close to where Linda Ann Healy had been abducted.
Georgianne Hawkins was last seen Monday evening shortly after midnight. She had been visiting at the Beta House and was returning to her house just a half block away down this alley. Police believe she went along this route and then somewhere she disappeared.
Did you ever know her as the type of person that would take off at any time on her own and not tell anyone?
No, she wasn't like that at all. She was really close to all of us, and anything she was going to do, she always told us.
Because she lived in the University of Washington area where you have lots and lots of young people, lots and lots of young women, the community began to grow uneasy about what was going on.
It's unreal, and it's a nightmare, and nothing in anybody's manual would prepare you for something like this. Mostly they're frightened, and I sense a good deal of anger.
Against whom?
against anyone who would feel they had the right to walk into the middle of a young lady's life and disrupt it in this way.
It was very obvious to me that there was something really horrible, really wrong going on.
There's no physical evidence except that the two girls were very similar type girls. They're very dependable. They told people where they were going and when they were coming back, and that they just didn't do things of this nature, and they're within 2 blocks of each other.
Police say they will return to this alley at night to determine the lighting of the area. Meanwhile, they're asking the girls to stay out of the alleys and travel in groups of 2s or 3s and use only the front doors.
The disappearance of Julianne Harmon is an interesting case. In fact, there is no evidence at all. She might be an interesting one to discuss. What do you think? Well, I don't know about the Hawkins case. From what I know about it, is unusual because she was in a neighborhood where she would have a lot of acquaintances. I don't know.
Guiding the conversations with Ted was a challenge. I started trying to push him into more substantive areas, and he just kept bobbing and weaving. He wanted to talk about everything but the cases against him. He told me that when he graduated from high school, he went to the University of Washington.
I compensated a lot for what I consider to be my more vulnerable aspect, my introversion, by being seemingly aloof and arrogant and intellectual, but nice and tolerant and that kind of stuff. And I would sit down with her and say, this is the way it would be.
At the University he got an undergraduate degree in psychology and also met this tall, attractive, wealthy young woman from California, and for a while caught her attention.
The relationship I had with Diane had a lasting impact on me. She's a beautiful dresser, a beautiful girl, very comfortable, nice car, great parents. So, you know, for a first-time girlfriend, really, that was not too bad. We spent a lot of time driving around in her car, you know, making out in a car, mumbled sweet nothings into each other's ears and told each other how much we loved each other. And she inspired me to look at myself and to become something more.
He decided that he wanted to go into politics, and he was a straightforward, clean-cut, foursquare, Richard Nixon Republican.
4 years ago, crime was rising all over America. I pledged to stop the rise in crime.
I've always been anti-union, anti-boycott. I guess that kind of labels me as somewhat conservative.
The anti-war movement and the liberal agenda offended him.
I just wasn't too fond of criminal conduct and using the anti-war movement as a haven for delinquents who would like to feel that they were immune from the law. I did speak out against this radical socialist types who trashing the buildings to destroy the university.
When I first met Ted, he was doing work for the state Republican Party at that time in Seattle. I got a job working for Republican Governor Dan Evans' campaign for re-election, and Ted volunteered to come on and work with us. Our friendship grew from there. He was a very nice person. He was the kind of guy you'd want your sister to marry.
One of the things Ted liked about politics is that politicians are all about image. They're about selling something to the public. That's perfect for him because he doesn't have to be real.
The reason I love politics and was just drawn to it from the very beginning was because here was something which allowed me to utilize my natural talent in politics and also my assertiveness
always fit in wherever he was at. We would go to functions where there'd be some very influential people there, and Ted could always strike up a dialogue. These people accepted him.
And the social life, I mean, the social life came with it. You were accepted there, you know, you went out to dinner with people. They invited you to dinner. This is the way they were. They took you to drink things. And there it was, a life that had been missing for me. During that campaign, I got laid for the first time. I got laid in Wawa.
Ted's job with the governor's campaign was to attend all of the events that Rossellini had. The other side, a Democrat running against Governor Evans, and write down what Rossellini said to use it against him.
Ted saw himself as something more than just another guy who was just working on the campaign.
An official for the Republican gubernatorial candidate was accused of political spying.
It's hard for me to believe that what I did is newsworthy, and my part in the campaign was so insignificant. I'm embarrassed that I should be getting this publicity from it. Really embarrassed.
He affected humility at it, that he was just another little cog, but he in fact loved to be the center of attention.
Ted had aspirations to be affluent and recognized and looked up to. But I did meet his girlfriend from California. She's a very classy person. And Ted wanted to be in the upper class. I think he looked up to me. I was like the big brother, the older brother, and we had the same interests. He enjoyed cooking and eating. I like to cook. That's sort of my hobby.
When I met Marlon, I was attracted to him because his wife could cook good sushi, and they were very nice people.
Ted liked my Volkswagen. He wanted a Volkswagen just like mine. And I remember he liked, to have a grab bar up here. And he seemed intrigued by that. And then he got one just like mine, I guess, same color and everything. And I was going to law school, and Ted decided he was going to go out to law school too.
After he graduated from the University of Washington, Ted applied to a number of law schools, but he was devastated when his LSATs came back and he was mediocre. They weren't very good at all. So he was not going to get into a great law school. And he goes to the University of Puget Sound Law School, night school.
I felt like I failed not only myself, but even my teachers and instructors at the university.
And he's bitterly disappointed because it lacks any kind of mahogany and tweed that he had in mind. And it was a miserable year for him.
It was just absolutely out of control with my life. I didn't know what I was going to do. I didn't know how I was going to live. I didn't even know how I was going to support myself.
And his relationship with Diane falls apart. She was frankly more woman than he could handle. He didn't have any money, and that kind of opened up a lot of the old self-doubt.
I experienced any number of insecurities with Diane. There were occasions when I felt that she expected a great deal more from me than I was really capable of giving. I was not in a position to take her out, squire around in the manner in which she was accustomed, but or buy her clothing. I think I was coming apart at the seams. Maybe she saw it, maybe didn't understand, what I was going through. Throughout the summer, Diane and I corresponded less and less. And then Diane stopped writing, and I started to get fearful about what she was up to. I had this overwhelming feeling of rejection that stemmed not just her, but everything. The tail end of that summer is really a blank. I mean, it was a nightmare for me. In there somewhere was a desire to have some sort of revenge on Diane. But for the end of the summer, I'm serious, I just blank. I don't know what the hell I did.
From January to June of this year, the King County area was engulfed in a wave of...
Pero ella era rica, tenía, ¿sabes? Vivía una vida. Su papá le daba todo eso para estudiar, todo, no sé, algo profesional.
Tenía una novia ya era adulto.
Ajá, pero la muchacha era de dinero, rica y todo eso. Entonces él estaba estudiando leyes, pero no era bueno, no lo aceptaron en la escuela de leyes. Cogió una escuela local, como dice Miami-Dade, en vez de ir para Florida State o Miami U. No era bueno. Y ahí se colgó también. No era bueno. Entonces Diane estaba en la universidad también, al final empezaron a escribirse menos y menos. Y como para el verano de eso ya no se estaban escribiendo nada. Yo empezó a sentirse rechazado. Y para más o menos el verano, él dice que no se acuerda mucho de lo que hizo, pero sí se acuerda que... Guys, we're talking and watching this, so like, please.
Calm down, también, estoy viendo.
You're gonna finish it. But you gotta pass it. So, ya al final se sentía como que estaba regresando, qué sé yo, y dice que de repente no se acuerda nada de lo que hizo en ese verano, pero sí se acuerda que sentía como unas ganas de tener que cobrar venganza contra ella. Y en ese verano fue que empezó a matar gente. Pero dice que no se acuerda de nada.
As young women vanished with alarming regularity. 21-year-old Linda Ann Healy was the first to disappear. George Ann Hawkins also disappeared from the University of Washington campus.
When Linda Healy and George Ann Hawkins disappeared within the city of Seattle, they were missing persons cases. They're not murders. They just have gone. There was no region-wide panic until word spread that 4 other women had also disappeared from other jurisdictions all around western Washington and into northern Oregon.
Nearly every month in and around Seattle, a young woman disappeared.
Gail Manson disappeared from the Evergreen State College campus near Olympia. Susan Rancourt disappeared from the campus of Central Washington State College in Ellensburg. Roberta Kathleen Parks disappeared from the Oregon State University campus at Corvallis. 22-year-old Brenda Ball of Seattle, who was last seen at a tavern in Burien. There were 6 unsolved disappearances here in less than 6 months.
When the series of girls were reported missing, terror gripped Seattle. I was a reporter for KJR Radio, and the desperation in Seattle was crazy. The people were frightened to death. We had started at KJR numbering the women. Number 3, number 4, number 5 has disappeared, number 6.
Women were disappearing, and my brother would send me the clippings from the paper. It just made me sick.
It was on the news. There were a bunch of young women missing in the Seattle area. I was shocked. I couldn't believe it.
They just vanished for no apparent reason. We were pretty sure that there was probably foul play some way or another, and we feel that we haven't come to the end of our line here, that there's a good possibility that this could happen again.
It was an emotional time. Behavior was changed. A lot of behavior changed. There had been young men, young women hitchhiking on every street corner, and the hitchhiking stopped, just like that.
We just want to caution the young women of our community to be overly cautious at this time.
As a woman and a detective, it was not lost on me that the victim pool was kind of like me in the sense of age, college educated, and for most of the women that I knew, they were very careful about meeting strangers and dating and who they were dating and so forth. And I knew from my friends that there was apprehension and fear about what was going on because we did not have a suspect.
All the material that was coming out of the Seattle Police Department was, we don't know what's going on. We don't know where these girls are disappearing to. We have no suspect.
Information is coming in, but it isn't anything that we can really go on right now.
Brenda Ball was my missing person case. I worked very hard at trying to locate her. Didn't find out any information from anybody that knew anything. We were reviewing the type of case it was as a killer or maybe a couple of killers. The term serial killer was not anywhere on anybody's register in 1970s. As far as I was concerned, it was new territory. We didn't know what was going on at all.
It's a record-keeping operation of the King County police agencies in general, which is horrendous. I have this connection with law enforcement there, and I work for the Seattle Crime Commission. I did some work on this crimes against women issue, particularly rape. To study this and make some suggestions to the Seattle police on how they can prevent rape.
A year or so before the women started disappearing, Ted had a brief job working for the Seattle Crime Commission. It gave him access to a lot of crime statistics, and he saw what the police did and what the police did not do. And he saw all sorts of places where somebody who was smart enough could take advantage of the chaos and the lack of consistency from one jurisdiction to another.
What I discovered, the discovery I made, was that they had well-intentioned people, but they didn't know what they should do.
Various police departments weren't sharing information across jurisdictional lines. This became blatantly obvious fairly early on in the series of murders. I would call a police department and say, how many girls are you missing? We have one missing here. And I said, how many are missing in Seattle? I don't know. There were wild investigative leads that went all over the place. The captain of homicide in Seattle, Herb Swindley, would call me into his office sometimes to brainstorm. One day I walked into his office, and up on the chalkboard he had the names of 8 or 10 young women. And I said, what's that list? And he said, I was going to ask you to look at it. And in between each of the names, he had the numbers 23, 23, 36, 36, 23, 23, 36, 36. And I said, I don't know, what's that all about? And he said, that's the number of days between the disappearances. And he said, do you see a pattern? He was researching various religious cults to try to attach it to various kinds of occult calendars and witchcraft, Satanism, human sacrifices. They had no hard evidence, no descriptions of potential suspects. They were desperate.
While Stephen was meeting with Ted in prison, I was out in the Northwest reinvestigating all the murders that he was suspected of. 6 years after these murders, there really wasn't any real strong evidence in any of the cases. I met with the local police, what witnesses there were to the crimes, the families.
Well, we received a phone call from the university that my daughter was missing, that she hadn't come home. She was a straight A student, the type of child who just wouldn't normally do those kinds of things. Those things don't happen to you. They happen to everybody else. You read about them in the paper. They happen in New York City. They don't happen in Ellensburg, Washington.
It was just a hard, tiresome job for many weeks, and it was very, very hurtful too, because some of these families never found their daughters. I had 2 teenage daughters at the time, and I just envisioned what had happened to some of these girls. It was horrible.
Why and how an individual would select women as victims of brutal crime is not entirely clear to me. Probably have 60% women friends opposed to 40% men friends, and then we divide it that way. I enjoy them.
Ted presented himself as just a Boy Scout, boyishly handsome, smooth-talking, and people really fell for him. And he met a woman named Liz in a bar, and she fell madly in love with him. Liz became his main squeeze. They almost got married.
family. She was from a wealthy background. She was somewhat meek. Liz had a child who she had to raise alone for a time.
She had a daughter, and they formed this kind of little family for a while.
And she was new, and this is a whole new dimension to living that I had never seen before.
But they had issues.
I felt such a strong love for her, but we didn't have a lot of interests in common. Like politics was something I don't think we had in common. She liked to read a lot. I wasn't into reading. I wasted a lot of time. And the other problems that I would experience, like not being able to make my genuine feelings for her come out, whether it's fixing a special dinner, or going out, or bringing flowers, or taking out the garbage, and changing the sheets, or doing the laundry. On occasion, I would experience this fit of guilt, as it were, and I would vacuum, and I would straighten up, wash dishes, or fix dinner, do something. The area where I really failed would be not opening up my whole life to her. I don't know what I was hiding. Maybe I was just trying to preserve the Ted Bundy devil may care attractive bachelor image. I was terribly jealous of her. I used to agonize about losing her. I used to just torture myself. I did a lot of dumb things.
Ahora va a salir. Voy a salir ahora. Esa sería la película de Ted Bundy.
It was a beautiful Sunday afternoon. There were thousands of people at the park. There were all kinds of events going on. Lots and lots of young people. Lots and lots of young women. In a place where they feel safe. And then at some point that day, two women, Denise Naslin and Janice Ott, disappeared from Lake Sammamish Park.
I was still at the radio station in 1974 when Janice Ott and Denise Naslin were abducted from Lake Sammamish State Park. I, in fact, lived in a house just a couple miles down the road. So when the boss called and said, get over to Lake Sammamish, I went over and began interviewing people from there. It was the first time that some really clear details came out.
So far, we've gotten a few good leads, particularly on Janice Ott, the missing girl from Issaquah. As far as Denise Naslin, we're still a little bit shaky on that yet.
It reminds me of that, like the story is in the movie it talks about like the news and stuff.
¿Cómo se llama la película?
Slow down, it's there somewhere. I don't have a name, it's a really long name. And before continue watching more. Is it under? Go on. Right there. Extremely wicked, chocolate, evil, and vile. I don't know. But that's the movie. Just started over. ¿De una sola movie normal? En el cine. We started. See, Zac Efron. Ese es de la... de Disney, ¿verdad? Yeah. ¿Pero ese es él? ¿En la película es él? ¿Y se va? Oh, baby. ¿Te acuerdas de Viña?
No. En la cara, sí.
Sí, pero ¿sabes tú cuando le diste like? ¿Dónde te ríes?
No te di like.
No.
Good to see you. Oh, man, this sack of potatoes is getting pretty dang heavy. Oh, hey, I'm getting dizzy. Oh, come here.
esperar porque no lo puedo dar restart hasta que llegue ahí.
Okay, sorry.
Oh, okay.
Why did you bring me to a college bar? I feel invisible here. Because it's about time to get over that loser you were with. No guy is going to want to go with a single mom who works as a secretary.
Tonight, you are not a single mom. You're single. You're not a secretary. You have a secretary. And how can you be invisible when that guy's been staring at you all night?
That's a beautiful ring.
I didn't come to catch up, Ted.
This is my last quarter. Better make it a good one. I haven't seen you here before.
It's my first time out since I moved to Seattle. Do you remember the night we met?
Yeah. I fell in love with you the moment I saw you.
What do you say we get out of here?
Oh, I don't even know your name. Thanks again for driving me home.
Of course. It was really fun.
This is where I live.
Okay. I guess I better kick on.
Sorry, it's late and I have school tomorrow.
Ted, this is Rachel, my sitter.
You can pay me later.
Hi.
I understand if you want to go.
I wouldn't want to do that.
Come in.
Are you sure you don't want to run?
That's right. Hey.
Hey.
Coffee?
Okay.
Hey.
Good morning.
You look so pretty sleeping. Just, I didn't want to wake you. Hey. What's your mom about breakfast? Making omelets, found some bacon. You like pancakes?
From January to July of 1974, the King County area was engulfed in a wave of fear as young women were being attacked and murdered with alarming regularity.
Georgianne Hawkins was last seen Monday evening shortly after midnight. She had been visiting at the Beta House and was returning to her house just a half block away down this alley.
King County police have started their investigation after Janice Ott and Denise Naslund vanished from Lake Sammamish State Park. At least 7 people at the crowded beach saw a smooth-talking man with his arm in a cast asking several women to help him load a boat onto a Volkswagen.
A composite picture was released to the news media.
An intensive search was mounted and police have been flooded with phone calls from citizens who report seeing the suspect.
King County Sheriff's Department. Take a breath. Describe him for me, okay? What kind of car did he drive?
Hi, officer. I think I must be lost.
You ran 2 stop signs, son.
I know. I couldn't make your car. The headlights were in my eyes, and to be honest, I got a little bit spooked.
You got a license?
Yes, absolutely. Somewhere. Yes.
So what's a kid from Seattle doing in Granger, Utah this time of the morning?
No, I live in Salt Lake. I'm a law student over at the University of Utah. My girlfriend lives in Seattle. I'm going to propose to her as soon as I graduate. I'm trying to save for that ring, so if you could find it in your heart to let me off without a ticket, I would really appreciate it.
Stay here.
Oh, what the was that for?
How many stop signs did you run?
Have you ever been to the town of Murray?
What? You don't actually believe this garbage, do you?
It's in all the papers, Ted.
Number 6, step forward.
If you don't stop screaming, I'm going to kill you.
Number 7, step forward.
If you don't stop screaming, I'm going to kill you.
Now, miss, do you recognize any of these suspects?
Number 7.
Please rise.
You are hereby charged with aggravated kidnapping and attempted criminal assault.
I got your bail reduced. You'll be in Seattle with Liz tomorrow.
I didn't tell you because I didn't want you to freak out. Come here. I know it's hard being apart, but we only have 4 semesters between us and our place in the Sound with a dog and a car. Just like we always dreamed.
Ted!
Oh, Monkey! Hey, what's up? Good to see you. Oh, man, this sack of potatoes is getting pretty dang heavy. Oh, hey, I'm getting dizzy. Oh, come here. Give me a hug. Good to see you. I missed you.
Can we get ice cream later?
That is such a good idea. I wish I could, but I can't. I'm sorry. I have to pull an all-nighter tonight at the law library.
All-nighter?
Yeah, I gotta make sure I'm the most prepared attorney in the courtroom once my trial starts.
Why did she pick you out of the lineup?
My lawyer found out that the police showed him a picture beforehand. Twice. Of course I looked familiar. That's not even the worst part. What happened in Utah wasn't just dumb luck. The police already had my name. Someone gave it to them.
Someone gave your name to the authorities in Utah. And do you have any idea who did that to you?
Look, do you see that car out there? It's been following me since I got back. Either I'm going crazy or I'm being set up.
Done. It's a thresher shark. They have a tail as long as their whole body.
A tail as long as their whole body? That's crazy. How the heck did you get so smart?
I get it from my mom.
You do, don't you? Everything's gonna be okay. Excuse me, sir. Could you come with me, please? Is there something wrong? Just come with me, please. Bring your coat. Okay. You know this is ridiculous, right?
I'm closing soon anyway, so it's just better for everybody.
Oh, really? You're closing? Closing 45 minutes.
What are you doing?
Reading it, prepping for the trial.
What the flashlight under the sheets?
Yeah, I didn't want to wake you up. You okay? I think we should get married.
Why is this happening right now?
A couple of college girls disappeared last year around the University of Washington. And 2 more girls vanished in broad daylight in a crowded state park in near Seattle. You remember that?
Lakes, man.
Yeah. Witnesses say some guy was asking girls to help him put a sailboat on top of a car, and police put out a sketch.
I had the same car as the suspect, a VW bug, and my friends teased me about the resemblance to the sketch. But geez, nobody was serious.
Some must have been, because your name landed on a suspect list in Seattle. When Utah police got wind of that, they started looking at you with a lot more interest because something similar is happening to girls right here.
I was kicking him and screaming. He held a small black gun to my head and said, "If you don't stop screaming, I'm going to kill you. I'll blow your brains out." Then I fell backwards out of his car and ran as fast as I could.
As best you recall, Carol, is the man who approached you present in court today?
Yes.
Can you point to where he's seated?
Oh, yeah. ¿Estás tu comforter?
Let the record state the identification of the
Yeah,
defendant.
the blue one. El que tú tienes ahora no es super hot. El otro.
No more questions, John.
Hi, Mr. Ranch. Had the police shown you a picture of my client prior to your identification of him at the October 2nd lineup?
Yes.
You did, in fact, pick his picture out of a pile, but when asked specifically why you chose his picture, you stated, "It looks something like him, but I really couldn't say for sure." Is that correct? The only remotely corroborative evidence you provided was a make of a vehicle. It's a Volkswagen, one of the most popular cars in America. Yet, his Volkswagen looks nothing like your description. How do you square that?
It was supposed to be.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
They told me it was supposed to be the car.
Who did? Who told you that, Mr. Ranch? We all sympathize with your pain. It is horrible what you went through. But the fact of the matter is, you identified my client because law enforcement wanted you to, didn't you? No further questions, Your Honor.
I know the trial seems to be going well, but are you sure you want to do this right now?
Just because we don't have the house yet doesn't mean we can't look for the dog. Carolyn?
Hi, stranger.
Oh my God. Hi. Wow. What are you doing here? Do you live in Utah now?
No, I'm just visiting some friends that work here.
Hi.
Hi. I'm Liz.
Yes, this is my girlfriend. We just got engaged, so Carol Ann and I used to work together at the Department of Emergency Services in Olympia years ago.
Oh, that's nice. That I heard. Everything's going to be okay, you know? We're all behind you. 100%. Whoever this woman is who's accusing you, I'm sure she's just gotten you mixed up with another handsome stranger. Right. Well, I'm going to take this handsome stranger, and yeah, it's nice to meet you, Carolyn.
It's good to see you.
Bye. What's her story?
Yeah, we're just old friends. Haven't seen her in a long time.
Oh, check this guy out. He looks like he'd be a good roommate. Come here.
Promise you'll never leave me, Liz. Because I honestly don't know what I'd do without you.
I
I would never. You know about that dog? He's so sweet. Look at him.
We're gonna get a dog one day. Don't worry.
What will it be like? You're so weird.
You fell in love with a weirdo.
I did. I fell in love with a weirdo.
That makes you weird, just by association.
Don't you have anything more lively to listen to? I don't want to listen to this
You don't like classical?
opera.
You give me what you promised me. Yeah, yeah. Promise me the day that you quit your boyfriend, I'll be the next one to ease on me. You promise me it would be just us two, yeah. And I'll be the only man kissing on you, yeah. Now kiss me, hold it a long time, hold it. Don't turn it loose now. Gotcha. Never know hell, I gotcha. You thought you got away from me, but all I gotcha.
Will the defendant please rise? By the power vested in me as both judge and jury, I hereby find the defendant guilty of aggravated kidnapping beyond a reasonable doubt. You will be remanded to the Utah State Prison to await sentencing. This court is adjourned.
Everything's gonna be, listen, everything's gonna be fine, all right?
I'm sorry.
Just don't give up on me, all right?
I won't realize.
I'm gonna fix this.
I'm sorry.
No, it's not scary. It's, let's just say that men convicted of crimes against women have a short shelf life in America. Listen, Liz, this whole thing is going to be overturned. Okay? I've already filed an appeal, and I've been working on it day and night. I'm going to be out of here as soon as
Everything's gonna be okay.
I want to come see you.
I was really hoping you'd say that.
University Medical Division. Please hold. Liz, you have a call on line 2.
University Medical Division, this is Liz.
Hi, Liz. This is Detective Mike Fisher. You have a moment?
About what?
I think you know what it's about.
If I join you here? What you doing? Indexing 700 pages of testimony. Sounds fun. Not when it's about you. What's your game? I'm kind of busy.
They told me he was cleared.
Who did?
Seattle authorities.
Well, I don't work for King County. I work for Pitkin County.
Where is that?
Colorado.
Colorado?
You ever been to Colorado, Ted? Mister, I'm a full-time law student. I barely have time to set foot off campus. Is that a no? Let me get back to plotting my escape here. You were. I'm sorry? You were a full-time law student. For the record, my game is homicide. Catch you later.
I'm sorry.
We could really use your help, Liz.
There's nothing I can help you with. And please don't call me here anymore.
La policía de Estado de Colorado, Seattle. Y así que están haciendo preguntas.
John, hey, give me some good news. Did Peel go through? I thought I told you not to talk to anyone.
Yeah. And then
You didn't tell a homicide detective that you've never been to Colorado? He had your gas slips. He knew you were going to lie. He was baiting you. He's extraditing you for murder.
But I didn't lie.
Oh, you've never been to Colorado?
Yes, I've been to Colorado. I've been to Colorado tons of times. I'm an avid skier. I was just with Liz in Colorado. This is outrageous. Since when is it a crime to go to Colorado?
Since homicide detectives in surrounding states started looking for commonalities in their open cases and found ways to make you fit.
You have to stop this. They are railroading me.
I'm not licensed in Colorado. There's some good attorneys that I can give you the names of, but they're awfully expensive.
John, please.
Otherwise, they can provide you with a public defender.
No, John, please. What? No, John, hey. No, please. John.
Bad day? Ted's been sent to Colorado. Colorado? I thought he was being held in Utah. It's about another missing girl, isn't it? It's a mistake, Joe. The news said King County is looking at him in connection to the 2 girls that disappeared from Lake Sammamish that one summer. You remember that sketch that we saw? It looked just like him. That sketch looked like everybody. Well, his name is on a suspect list. There were over 30,000 names at one point. Every brown-haired guy with a Volkswagen Bug. It's a mistake. The police said he was cleared. How do you even know that? And why is he in jail? And how did his name get on that suspect list? I think you should leave. I think you should leave. Okay.
Guess where I am?
Where?
I'm sitting in an office.
Aspen Courthouse. Can you hear my chains jangling?
No, I can't.
Know why? Because I'm not wearing any.
I convinced the judge to make me co-counsel, so I have all the benefits of like a regular lawyer. I get to use the library as much as I want. I get a big desk. They give me a typewriter and uncensored use of the phone. So I called you to see how you're doing.
All the other prisoners just think that I'm some bigwig or something.
Can we talk later? I have a headache and I have to work.
Yeah, but hold on one sec. Liz.
University Medical Division, this is Liz.
Hey,
I wanted to tell you about this book. Have you ever heard of Papillon?
A book?
Yeah, it's about this guy who's
wrongfully convicted of a terrible, terrible crime, and he gets sentenced to life, but
he didn't do it, and
Goodbye, Ted.
Wait, Liz! Please, just don't hang up. He obsesses
over the day that he'll be free again and spends years hatching escapes, getting caught, punished, beaten, betrayed, but he never loses hope. And that's my wish for us, Liz.
That we never lose hope.
Does he make it out?
I'm not going to give away the ending.
Call me tonight.
Okay, I'll call you tonight.
Hey, buddy. Off the ledge. Sure.
The state of Colorado seeks to prosecute the defendant for the murder of Karen Campbell. Disappeared from a well-lit hallway at the Wildwood Inn in Aspen. A month later, her nude body was found in a snowbank several miles away.
Will the defendant please rise? As a pretrial, we're not here to consider the credibility of the evidence, only its existence. And after careful consideration, this court rules in favor of the defendant standing trial for the murder of Karen Campbell.
Your Honor, the state also seeks a hearing to consider the death penalty, should the trial come to that phase.
We'll determine that at a later date. For now, the defendant shall be held without bail. This court is adjourned.
The death penalty?
It's just a formality. Their case is circumstantial at best. It's a slam dunk.
Oh, that's funny. My last lawyer said the same thing.
And waiting by the door. Ooh, what a lucky man he was. Ooh, what a lucky man he was.
You bought your plane ticket yet?
Do another trial.
You have to come.
They made up.
Liz, you have to come. Liz, promise me that you'll come. Liz.
Ted, you're a law student standing trial for murder here in Colorado. You've also been convicted in Utah of attempted kidnapping, yet you adamantly maintain your innocence. Does this make you angry?
Sure. I get angry and indignant.
So you're not guilty?
I mean, does that include the time that I stole a comic book when I was 5 years old? I'm not guilty. I am comfortable with my blanket statement that I am innocent.
Do you think the police have done a bad job because you're an innocent guy here sitting in prison?
As long as the police keep their heads in the sand about me, that people are going to continue showing up dead or missing from the canyons in Colorado to the Salt Lake Valley. And young women are going to continue to be threatened by that person or persons.
Do you ever think about getting out?
Legally? Sure.
Does the defense have anything further to add in this pre-trial sentencing consideration?
Your Honor, the defense requests that the court exclude the death penalty on the grounds that seeking it is often arbitrary and capricious.
The court will consider your arguments, Mr. Dumas. Let's take a 15-minute recess before concluding with the prosecution's final arguments.
Come on, let's get some air. Oh, you know what?
I need to make a phone call. I need to call this.
Excuse me, Deputy. He needs to use the phone in the library.
Make it short. Be right back.
Hey. I'm good. How are you?
So, you came all the way from Ohio just for this little trial?
Listen, I really just called to tell you how much I miss you.
Well, this is just a regular day for me. Well, just the other day I was walking down Main Street. I heard the screaming from this record store. There's this kid with a record running right at me. So I unholstered my service weapon, making like I was about to discharge. Oh, that means shoot.
Give me a ticket for an aeroplane. Ain't got time to take a fast train. Lonely days are gone, I'm a-going home. Baby, so wrote me a letter. I don't care how much money I gotta spend. Got to get back to my baby. Lonely days are gone, I'm a-going home. Baby, so wrote me a letter. When she wrote me a letter, said she couldn't live without me no more. Listen, mister, can't you see I got to get back to my baby once more? Anyway, yeah, been a ticket for an aeroplane. Ain't got time to take a fast train. Lonely days are gone, I'm a-going home. My baby used to wrote me a letter. He went that way. The subject has been spotted on the northeast of the court.
Mr. Dumas, where the hell is your client?
I have no idea, Your Honor. They don't teach you this in law school.
Let the record reflect that the defendant has escaped custody and a bench warrant has been issued for his arrest. I guess we're adjourned.
The drama started when a man walking along Aspen's Main Street saw someone jump out of those windows in Aspen's courthouse. He walked downstairs in the courthouse and asked the sheriff's secretary if it was normal for somebody to be leaping out of those windows.
This is crazy. He will never come here. I mean, the cops are probably on a round-the-clock stakeout.
I need a drink.
You already had one.
Since when is it a crime to take the edge off every once in a while?
Since your little girl started asking why her mommy is so sad. And it's not just once in a while. So don't soft-pedal this and make me out to be the bad guy. You do this every day. You read those letters from Ted. You drink. You cry.
I take care of myself.
I'm a good mother. You are a great mother, but you are in denial. What is it about this guy?
When I feel his love, I feel like I'm on top of the world. And when I don't, I feel like I'm nothing. What if the only thing he's guilty of is running a stop sign?
He's been convicted of attempted abduction in Utah, accused of murder in Colorado. His name is being tossed around in connection to other murders in other states. Liz, you know this didn't start with a stop sign.
Ted Bundy has been recaptured after spending nearly 6 days of freedom in the mountains near Aspen. This morning, he was returned to court and arraigned on numerous additional charges relating to his escape.
Oh my gosh. So what do you think? Outside, fresh air.
Fancy.
Merry Christmas.
I'm sorry, I didn't get you anything.
No, you brought me the only thing I wanted in the entire world. Can I open it? I've read it 4 times. You remember what it's about, don't you?
Never lose hope.
You have it. Have it. I know this is hard. Believe me, it's hard for me too. It's so hard. And running was foolish. But you weren't answering my calls.
You can tasty original nuggets for $1.49, only at Burger King. Come on.
I've got something amazing to show you. Lumify eye drops. They're a real game changer when it comes to beautiful looking eyes. Lumify is unlike any other drop out there. Lumify reduces redness so dramatically that it helps your eyes look whiter and brighter for up to 8 hours. I had no idea my eyes could look this amazing. Lumify, from the eye care experts at Bausch & Lomb. Give Lumify a try. You won't believe your eyes.
My headphone y mi control de mi mami quiere algo también. Yo, don't put it like that, bro. That's why it breaks.
Just no way.
Yes, it does.
Surely, you still don't like doing that?
But can you start listening to me so I don't have to do that? If I tell you don't do it,
You just do it randomly.
no, I do it because I told you one thing. Instead of you saying okay, hey, walk away. Instead of saying okay, you still did it. And they say, that's why. Voy, que quiero ver algo en tu teléfono. Pero quiero ver algo primero. Pero no puedo ver algo en tu teléfono primero. Ponle la cara ahí. Espérate. Pero es que este nene es más presentado. Algo quiero ver. Yo te digo ya mismo. So, yo soy uno chiquito, parece, porque tú me coges mi teléfono cuando te da la gana. I just want to check something, bro. Calm down.
¿Tú no tienes por qué preocuparte?
Ni tú tampoco. No quiero chequear algo. Algo en tu página de internet aquí.
¿Cuál? ¿La chica de tu una vez?
Hmm?
¿Ya la chica de tu una vez?
Okay. Why you want to check mine? Pues tú coges el tuyo. Voy ahora. Yo ahorita te digo lo que tienes que chequear.
¿Estás borrando algo, no?
No. Nunca voy a borrarte algo. Yo nunca te hago nada en tu teléfono. Come on. Chequeé algo de internet porque pensé ahorita. Una estupidez pensé ahorita. Dije, porque tú sabes que tú estabas la otra vez. Te ponía a buscar fotos de. Y dije, mostrar eso de nuevo. Porque cuando eso pasara, estabas así conmigo. Y entré a todo eso. A ver. ¿Me dejas así otra vez? No sabía.
¿Es yours?
Bueno.
¿Es yours?
¿Qué quieres ver de mi teléfono?
No sé, a ver qué.
No, ¿qué es eso? Yo soy un nene chiquito. Tú tienes tu teléfono que quieres ver a ver qué hay. ¿Cuál es esta?
Ya que entramos en detalle. No me gusta esto, que no puedo sacarlo por las uñas.
Why not?
No sabes.
Mami, I'm not giving it to you porque te chequeé.
Why not?
Because. Why you want to check?
Tú dices que cuando yo quiera que chequee. ¿Cuál es el problema?
¿Y por qué tú quieres chequear?
Porque bueno, no. Pobrecito.
There's nothing, tú te chequeas todo. Chequeas todos mis textos. Chequeas todas mis páginas. Chequeas todo lo que hago. So, no, dude, what's wrong with you? Why you want to do that?
You do that to me.
I just checked something.
Okay.
Por primera vez en mi vida.
Please. ¿No va a dar algo?
Si me dices una razón por la que quieres chequear. Es ridiculous esto de que tú me quieres chequear. Aparte que me tienes todo. Ok, entonces no. Si no quieres chequear, entonces ¿para qué quieres mirar? Why you want to check something?
Así que pues tú me has dicho intensivo el limón. Cógelo cuando tú quieras. Como chequete el mío, que tú chequete.
I'm not giving it to you.
Why?
Because there's nothing for you to check. Mando lo que hayas chequeado, ¿qué es lo que quieres chequear? Te lo voy a dar, pero me va a molestar. No entiendo por qué.
Entonces, para que me dices como tú quieras abrir.
Porque tú no tienes por qué hacer eso y por eso es que sigas así como estás.
Pero
Okay.
¿cómo si yo no he buscado nada?
Yo soy obviante, me vas a chequear mi teléfono.
Yo no estoy hablando ni del tema, tú ves que empezaste pues.
Entonces, ¿qué tú quieres chequear?
Bueno, no, nothing. Mirar nomás.
Ajá, ¿mirar qué?
Like, curiosidad.
¿Curiosidad de qué?
No. ¿Por qué te pica?
Me molesta, eres así. Digo, pues sí, con tu...
¿Tú me lo acabas de decir ahora mismo?
Ya tú sabes por qué me molesto, ¿no?